Now, one thing that we are seeing coming from the US is that they are imposing tariffs on Mexico and Canada. And with the situation with Canada, it's so bad. I mean, Canadian dollar crashed so bad that the kind of levels it's trading at are the 2003 levels, which shows you of how bad or how intensive tariff increase battle between the US and Canada and the US and Mexico are hurting all of these countries. I mean, right now the president of the US, Mr. Donald Trump, is planning to impose tariff into even China. But here's the thing that about China that people are not realizing. Inflation in China is at 0.2%. Their inflation is so low in a way that this, even if it spikes, maybe their inflation, it will still be fine. But here's the thing, for US inflation for December, you know that it came at 2.9%. And the Federal Reserve's target was what? 2%. And all this tariff increase that US is imposing onto these countries, they are not immune themselves onto this. Unfortunately, it's going to also have an impact onto them. And for them, when you look between China and US is not yet at the target they want when it comes to inflation. China, on the other hand, their inflation is extremely low. People of China are not spending that much. Yes, the Chinese economy has been growing, but the spending, China needs to continuously improve or stimulate the spending from the consumers, which is why they announced the $1.4 trillion stimulus last year. It's going to help into recovering the Chinese economy, which is good. And this stimulus plus these tensions, though they are not good, they will make maybe China's inflation to get to that level that it's regarded as good, right? To get to that level which they are targeting. So yeah, man, this is not good, but this is going to have an impact into the US also. It's going to spike the inflation rate in US, inflation rate in Canada, inflation rate in China, inflation rate in Mexico. But like I said, for China, it's not that bad because the inflation is at 0.2%, which obviously to them it might not hurt them as much. But again, to the US, to Canada, to Mexico, all this won't be good, but let's hope it gets solved very soon. For our very own NEO, the way things are rising in between China and US, that possibility of NEO maybe penetrating the US this year, it might be out of the window because after DeepSeek was launched, it made, of course, the US to be aware of the kind of country China is becoming, the kind of country China is transforming to be. I mean, our favorite stock NEO, it is with no doubt that, of course, it's one of the companies in China that is making the US to really feel the heat of EV, feel the heat of the fast-growing EV space, new energy vehicle space, because of the kind of technology that we are seeing onto China, because of the kind of costs that are being built and being sold to consumers in China. It's just so crazy, and all this, as a result, is making the US to retaliate with a tariff increase onto oil and gas, tariff increase onto steel, tariff increase onto chips, which all this, it's not good in the short term for all these countries, but in the long term, for a country like China, it just makes them stronger because when they realize that they cannot get certain chips from China or from Nvidia, when they realize that they can't get certain chips from Nvidia, they try to use the little they have to build something that can give them a solution or a permanent solution to hedge against these implications or these back and forth tariffs that time and again they come from the US, which as a result, it makes China stronger. As a result, it makes companies like NEO to be strong because this is the very first thing that made NEO to produce their very own chips. Yes, it was for gross margins, but another thing that made them do this is to hedge against the tariff increase, the restrictions that sometimes comes when they are building their cars. It is for this reason that the plan is for them to build as many things as possible in-house, which as a result will give them a very good stand. It will give them a very good position to hedge against whatever that may come from countries outside of China. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this. It's not looking good, but hopefully things get better with time. Hopefully this fire that is like burning now, it slows down, right? I mean, we were expecting, like I said, companies like Leo to penetrate the US market very soon. By the way things are unfolding, it won't be that easy, I can tell you that. It might not be this year or next year, but let's wait and see how things unfold. I'll see you on my next video. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe and hit that notification bell. That's all from me, and God bless you all.